Okay. I'll share my screen. Window. Okay, so let's. I think I'll wait for Irfan for a second. Okay, let's start with some follow up. Starting with this discussion. Oh, sorry. Starting with Kak Lules's topic on optimization of our current properties, and then Irfan, who is the champion, will lead a brainstorm process. Irfan, would you like to give some update on this?
Okay, bye. Thank you. So maybe you can expand the row. I have update on the comment. So we have brainstormed with Bayu and Hansen about the factor for impact and effort, and also Kak Lilis also evaluate and add some factor for example like booking count and also the yeah for example like booking count. And I have created the redash to scoring the properties. It's improved from the previous query, but it still use some factor. It's not we are not use all the factor from the result of the brainstorm. For example, for impact, it should use revenue and occupancy, but I just use revenue because I have not integrated the occupancy data to my query. And also the factor of effort, I just use inquiry and booking count. Yeah, inquiry and booking count and listing. And with the weight, it's very subjective for the weight, and I still need like masukan and evaluate by Kofidi and Kalis about the weight and other experts. Yeah, like that. And also I attach the spreadsheet about the notes and yeah, about the notes for this query.
Okay, so before I give this to Carlos and Kofidi, I have some question, Irfan. Why
Yeah.
is there a lot of zeros in the impact and effort?
Okay, so why there is zero for impact and effort. For the effort, so there are properties that doesn't have like query. I think like booking count and query it's so small that jadi kayak saking kecilnya cuma 0,00 gitu. Mungkin 0,0004 atau 0,00005, tapi karena di guys kelihatannya cuma 0,00.
Yep.
Karena itu dibagi dari total inquiry and total booking count dan juga total listing.
Sorry Van, itu berarti effortnya apa? Pakai apa? Inquiry.
Effortnya pakai inquiry, booking count sama listing kak. Sementara masih pakai itu.
Impact?
Kalau untuk impactnya sementara masih pakai revenue. Harusnya pakai occupancy sih supaya apa?
Revenue dan occupancy.
Maunya pakai revenue dan occupancy kak. Jadi kayak supaya seimbang gitu. Karena kan mungkin ada properties yang apa gitu yang mewah. Jadi kayak revenue-nya banyak banget.
Oke. Kalau dari revenue kita coba double check ininya. Make sense nggak? Something like that. Coba dibalik tadi. By sort by score dong ya, berarti ya.
Ya.
Sort by score.
Ini aku improve dari query sebelumnya yang dibikin Maxwell. Mungkin apalagi tuh aku kasih attach juga ya query-nya Maxwell mengenai revenue dan inquiry-nya kayak. Itu ada di sini sih.
Itu revenue kan? Yang ini tuh bukan sih? Yang long tail itu?
Yang ini Kak.
Berarti ini NB Village.
Oh. Tapi dari sini.
Coba baik. Yang tadi coba tabelnya.
Yes.
Let's say rumah pertama Olala, Bingin Sanen Moon, Hilangmu, Toy Sakarai, Balinyu Gading. Balinyu Gading masih di situ ya? Oke. Iya, I think.
Sorry, confirm lagi. Ini itu suara gue kedengeran nggak sih? Masuk nggak?
Masuk.
Okay.
Masuk.
Ini tuh untuk prioritization yang perlu di optimize atau skor secara umum dari impact sama effortnya kan? Kayak agak-agak.
Ini kan prioritasnya kan?
Ya, yang mau dilakuin, bisa di optimize sama tim SPO gitu kan ya?
Masuk Kak. Kemarin kan apalagi itu dari Scrum kemarin itu maunya kita nge-ranking dari yang mana impact paling besar dengan effort paling sedikit. Jadi ini itunya apanya gitu. Kayak gini hasilnya. Tapi kalau misalnya masalah prioritization, aku belum ini ke kali list, maksudnya apa kayak faktor-faktor apa aja yang mau dioptimasi. Ya. Apakah properti yang paling
ini
sedikit?
milih propertinya aja kan?
Ya, itu cuma nge-ranking aja Kak dengan effort paling banyak
Ranking
dan
aja,
impact paling sedikit. Iya. Betul.
Oh iya, karena kalau misalnya seingat gue discussion yang gue bilang kan kayak lebih ke opportunity ke depannya. Tapi yang dari graf dari yang ini tuh gue ngertinya ini cuma ranking dari yang sudah terjadi kan berarti.
Iya, betul.
Ya.
Kedepannya kayak... juga sebenarnya bisa. Bisa kan future revenue jadinya jatuhnya. Mungkin coba itu bisa nggak ke let's say February deh. I'd like to know which property that I need to optimize kan buat di February. Coba cek February. Itu kan datanya September dan ini month startnya cukup February and end-nya juga February. Bisa diganti nggak?
Tidak drop down kalender ini.
Iya, belum drop down kalender.
Iya, nanti diganti drop down ya.
Oke. Ah ya, sama ini runtime-nya lama banget.
Oh ya?
Karena dia narik dari query lain.
30 menit
sampai 40 detik gitu.
Oh, kirain menit. Kalau menit baik aja.
Enggak. Itu lama sih.
Ini udah selesai.
Ya,
Ini udah kan?
Udah kan?
Yes, for since February.
Ya, coba.
Yeah.
Oke. Nayaka, rumah pertama. Nah, satu lagi.
Udah Kak?
Jadi ini tuh ada properti yang udah occupied. Nah, itu problemnya lagi. Jadi maksudnya kalau udah keisi, so we don't need to optimize it anymore, right? Buat February. Kayak Nayaka, rumah pertama, Dahayu, itu tuh udah isi.
Iya, maksud gue itu, Liz.
Iya, belum di occupied berarti.
Iya, maksud gue itu kayak ini tuh nunjukin performance sekarang, bukan potensi gitu loh, Liz. Kalau kemarin sepengertian gue, goal dari projectnya itu buat nyari top 5 yang mungkin possible bisa buat dapetin revenue dengan effort paling sedikit gitu. Tapi kalau ini itu di-score berdasarkan ya udah performance sekarang lagi bagus nih gara-gara effort dibanding impact-nya kecil gitu. Jadi beda sama yang gue pikir, makanya tadi gue confirm lagi.
Iya. I see.
Iya, jadi gimana
harusnya
Kak?
Availability ya.
Gimana Kak?
Harusnya ada availability sama kalau mau datanya yang ada berarti past revenue, tapi bukan directly past revenue-nya. Itu ada faktor kontribusi juga gitu. Tapi yang paling gede adalah faktor availability gitu. Karena kan yang bisa
itu,
kita available.
Yang belum ke booking kan maksudnya.
Atau enggak ya bisa jadi gini. Kamu kasih lagi keterangan availability satu lagi. Itu. Tetap kalau berdasarkan skor dan availability berarti ada dua gitu.
Availability-nya masuk di impact atau di effort Kak kalau begitu? Masuk di ini dong. Maksudnya mungkin
no column kayaknya kan.
Another column
aja. Jadi dia nggak termasuk bagian dari scoring Kak?
Kalau gimana? Menurut kalian gimana?
Kayaknya maksud kalian berarti dengan data yang ada, we're trying to look for property which has a high score but still high availability.
Yeah, I think so. What do you think, Vidi? Mungkin Vidi dulu confirm.
That approach is possible. As I mentioned before, there are two ways to approach this. One, looking at the score like this, and then look one just like what I mentioned. Look for ones with still high availability. Or second, we figure out what kind of property that is selling, and then find the closest property to it. But I think this one, the first approach lah ya, can be done ya.
Oh,
So
first approach.
imagine kalau misalnya di sini tabel ini ada satu kolom lagi yang soal availability. Tapi jadi ada skornya kan dari nomor 1 sampai berapa itu? Nomor 1 sampai 10 tuh ada availability. Bayangin aja dulu, ada tambahan availability-nya. What impact does it make? Kalau misalnya occupancy availability-nya itu tinggi atau rendah? Berarti kita akan fokus cuma yang availability tinggi doang kan?
Oke.
Yeah.
Oke, Kak. Oh ya, Coffee soal availability, is there any data source in Redis or we should scrap it from Bukit?
Tarik data dari query lain sih.
Query lain ya. Okay.
Itu udah
My question,
datanya Arda bukan?
Iya, datanya udah ada. Ada query lain soal occupancy. Coba cari di BI dashboard. My question is this actually. Is it possible for a property with a high availability or low occupancy kan to have a high score with this calculation?
The impact is counted by
Possible.
revenue.
Okay, I think it's possible. Especially for the property with high pricing, like they are really high in price. And then so just misalnya kan booking kamu juga termasuk, jadi mungkin orang bookingnya cuma 1 kali, tapi langsung 1 bulan. Terus
berarti 1 bulan berarti kan occupancy-nya
iya sih.
Kita nggak lihat ini gitu. Gimana dong?
Oh iya sih.
Nah, is it possible for those with low occupancy but high score?
Bisa, but actually inquiry should be belongs to impact then, right? I mean.
Nah, itu karena tadi itu inquiry kan efeknya ke effort ya. So, for example, if one property availability rendah, inquiry-nya tinggi. Kalau secara revenue management, kayak mungkin itu kayak, oh ini ada potensi nih, bisa di-evaluate inquiry-nya ini, salah jawabnya seperti apa. Nah, but in this scheme, effort justru banyak inquiry itu it's not a good thing gitu. Dari calculation-nya. Jadi, I don't know, mungkin ada bisa tambahan nggak setelah gue ngomong gitu?
Oh ya, boleh kalian dulu lah. From you guys ada idea nggak? Aku sih udah ada idea, tapi kalian dulu. Jess, mungkin Jess.
Dari Bayu ada mau.
Jess paham nggak Jess konteksnya?
Jess, maybe do you have anything?
Sorry, tadi aku aku masuknya pas tengah-tengah. Jadi aku ini ya. Cuman kalau yang tadi ini maksudnya skornya itu dari impact effort itu ya?
Yep.
Yes, ngebandingin impact sama effort.
Impact
and these
new
are properties that are
listing.
Apa ini? Ini yang dari paling tinggi.
Sorted by the score.
Mungkin dari Bayu dulu.
What Coffee said actually makes sense. If the score, if the impact pakai revenue or occupancy, and then we try to compare it with the availability, right? It doesn't really make sense. Probably most of the property with high score will have low availability.
Something like that, right? So maybe it can be done outside of the meeting. Revise the, revise the method, maybe framework or something like that on how to evaluate potential properties. The root issue is that the source in which we evaluate itself is not. That still doesn't make sense.
Yeah. Okay. Irfan, I guess that would be the actionable for this topic.
So what the actionable actually? So we should revise.
can you open the chapter anti management product and then go to the uh, SPO section? Jadi itu ada panduan berapa SPO section itu di bawah. Ya, that SPO wait. General step-nya itu coba. General steps. Oh, identifying the SPO candidates. Nah, itu ada beberapa dulu manually we do this fun. Try to observe like the method that we use in this approach. Jadi ada beberapa high performance, very low performance, and then apa. Coba try to discover from this. I think you can from this one. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
But availability is important because without availability we cannot sell it basically gitu.
Ya, berarti untuk sekarang kayak nge-translate dari way ini ke langsung ke skornya aja.
Ya. Betul. If you have some input juga boleh. This is the previous approach that we do. Gitu ya. Okay, fun. And Irfan and Bayu.
Okay, so I want to confirmation that. So for the section number 10 is the availability, and then try to observe again about the method for scoring. Am I right?
Yep.
Yes, Bang.
That's correct.
That will be right. I'll move this to. Oh, already has been moved to Friday. Okay, so this is about my project. The deadline actually is 31 of December, but since this project requires some cost, and I'm currently trying to uh, propose the new cost. So I will be waiting for the outcome of the proposal, and then I'll update the progress later on after I get the confirmation of the cost proposal. So this is for this topic. Let's go to is this a new topic, Kak? Kalilis? No, right? Oh, we haven't talked about this topic actually for business intelligence. So, Kak Lilis.
Yeah. This one, I think you've discussed this last week on Friday, right? And you come up with that conclusion. Yang waktu Friday. But I think, is there any other? I think there is a comments. Can you open the sections or the comment section? So basically, I need until the number itself.
Yeah.
It's already discussed, right? About for last week.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I think we need to come with the SLA juga. This is only PA, right? SLA-nya, like for example,
Okay.
yeah, I'm not sure your screen is blurry. I cannot read that. Like delivery time, how many hours you should deliver a certain projection, for example, accuracy of projection, and then average occupancy rate itu berapa, and then strategize like marketing, pricing itu SLA seperti apa, like more detail of that, basically.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you. Okay. We'll probably have time to deliver it by Friday. So let's move on.
Who's the PIC like from previous week? Is there any PIC for this one?
It should be Hansen, right?
Hansen. Okay, so
Yeah.
let's delegate to Hansen for this one to discover our SLA, basically for PI. Okay.
Okay. Thank you, Kak. So let's go to Icha's topic. Any updates for this, Icha?
Icha is not here actually, Bayu.
Oh.
But as far as I know, we have the SPO already, and from Hansen, it's still on hold to add some what is that? It will be, I think it will be belongs to one dashboard with Irfan's result. So there is a property prioritization, and then later we'll break down the factors di bawahnya to dive into better like further insights gitu. So that's
Yeah. Is Irfan and Hanson aware of that, Kak? Or is that a new suggestion?
that's actually by Icha. I haven't really checked to Icha whether they already
Okay.
know or not about that one.
Okay, so Irfan, do help me to write it down in the comments that for Hanson and you to work together on this visualization.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Okay, and then let's move on. Thank you, Fan. Okay, this is my topic actually, the improvement for property revenue projection, and based on the discussion, uh, it suggests that the newly suggested approach from Mr. Jing actually outputs to a similar number with the current workflow for the current projection. I guess I'll go to Kofidi. What do you think we could do next for this topic? Should we keep on trying to brainstorm a new approach, or?
Vidi, I think you have connection issue. Oh yeah, you're back.
I'm back.
Okay.
Yeah, yesterday we did discuss about this. The initial framework is like similar, but it yields different result from the current framework that we have. Our current framework is average occupancy in a month multiplied by the average price in a month, while the proposed framework is the sum of individual occupancy multiplied by individual price in a day. We checked the calculation. There is no closed form of right, Bayu, of
Yes.
the equation, but we tried like some random number, but the result is different. So, but we know that if going to like if we are able to evaluate like the individual parts as opposed to the average, that will be more accurate. The current issue is that we like it cannot be condensed into a single number, right? The concept wise, it's accepted to be more accurate, but the condensation to a single number is still not discovered yet on how to do it. Maybe Mr. Jing has anything to add?
This is, I would say, from a strategic point of view. So let's look at it this way. The main focal decision is whether we change or we don't change, right? That's kind of like what the prioritized decision needs to be. Let's ask ourselves this: is the current projection model capable of? Oh, okay. Let's say, is the current projection model satisfactory, and does it inspire delight?
Currently, no, right? Yeah.
Okay, good. Okay, so we know no. All right.
Yep.
Then let's go to the second part. Can the current model ever be improved to the point where it could inspire delight, or are we just building on a foundation that can never support the weight of what we're trying to achieve?
Yeah, we can actually use the same principle, sir, by making the evaluation for the average occupancy and average price to be more accurate. It's very similar concept. Like it foundationally, it has a similar concept to the one that you proposed, the sum of OI multiplied by PI. But it for the current method can actually produce the number output, but the proposed one, we still don't know how to.
This is where I disagree, because we know that essentially the distribution of our properties never really conforms to an average model. Is that correct? It generally looks like a long tail. And we also know that that is pretty consistent with all the experience we've ever had since the beginning of this enterprise, right? That no matter what, you're probably going to get some sort of long tail effect that's happening. So based on that, we know that it is probably not a very honest projection to look at average versus average, right? Okay. It is probably a matter of, okay, individual optimization for each particular component to the maximum of its capability, right? What that is essentially is effective pattern matching. What property needs to be paired with what type of guest, which we've already done in the, I think Bayu and Hansen have already actually done the classification, right? So let's look at it this way, everyone. We have a long tail distribution, a lot of head, and a long tail across, let's say, our user funnel. Maybe the right way to think of it is this, right? Maybe it's we haven't matched those properties to the correct users yet. That's why we have that long tail there. But if we're able to successfully match using our great system here at Bukit Vista, right? The property with the particular user, then instead of having one distribution, you could have 4 distributions, but then it's okay because they balance out, right? You have a long tail distribution for budget. You have a long tail distribution for comfort. You have a long tail distribution. So it's not like we're trying to fit all of our guests into one type of property. We have 4 different types of properties, but we're most likely going to get a long tail effect on each particular side. Okay, given that as a reality of the physics of what we're dealing with, okay, this seems to be immutable. It just doesn't seem like you can ever get a equal distribution. Then I would then argue that a framework that assumes an equal average distribution will never become accurate, right? That is not a foundation we can build on. That will always be off from the side, okay? So we need to look and take that into account. What is does the average actually tell us what the likely individual performance is going to be of a particular property? Okay. Yes. Okay, let's continue.
Mr. Jing, I have a question.
Yes, sir.
So, what I get from your idea is to group the property based on their type, right? So luxury, budget, or
okay,
etc.
don't
Is
get
that
too
correct, or,
hooked up on to actually deal with how to curtail long tail effects. Okay, that's not the main framework decision that we're trying to make here. What we're trying to do here is decide, does the average, okay, versus the individual summation, those are the 2 frameworks that we have. Which framework would actually give us a better projection? I'm saying that the average will never give us a really good projection for the individual, because we know individual performance always follows a long tail. It follows a very individual path, actually. So by saying the average, we're what does it mean? Like, let's say you take the average of the long tail. Where are you? Are you on this side? Are you on that side? You're very extremely off. If the distribution of revenues if the distribution of revenues of property followed a normal distribution curve, okay, then you could say the average is probably a good estimation, because you're going to hit somewhere around there. That's where, let's say, 80% of your things are going to fall within that range. The average will be good. But what I've seen is that it generally never follows that particular pattern, right? And so it needs to be taken into account that nothing is really close to the average. And so when we give an average projection, it is most likely always going to be off, right? It's going to be off for the outliers on this side, off for the outliers on the other side. So that's the point I'm trying to make, that the overall revenue projection needs to be taken into account of the sum of the individuals. And the sum of the individual then gives us also, everybody, the context and the information we need in order to improve that particular property's performance as well, right? Because if we look at the average, it has no relevancy to anything. Yeah, that's okay. And then let's go even deeper. Let's go and try to understand this at a deeper level. Why is this happening? This is happening because our products are unique. They're in different locations, different types of amenities. Each product that we're selling is not similar to another product. So therefore, the contact that we would be getting should never follow an average distribution because there is no average.
So for that one, the current method for averaging is not the average of all property that we have in Bukit Vista, but it's already specific to area and also property type.
But we know also, Vidi, we also know this, right? We know that when people make choices for what property type they look at, there's a strong component of like we know this already from the beginning. 2-3 bedroom villas in the same area do not get the same occupancy. Why? We know that there's a desirability factor in these particular things. They don't trade like commodities. It's not okay, Vidi, if we were selling, let's say, flight seats, right? Then the same flight, right, should be more or less the same price. But here, even the proximity and the size, whatever. Actually, to be honest, flights don't even have that, right? Flights, the price changes dynamically depending upon when you book it and what the relative occupancy is on that flight. So even in that example, 2 similar seats next to each other, one person might pay 3 times more than the next person, depending upon when they actually booked it. So that is, see, by that phenomenon alone, you know that the average can be very, very difficult to actually compare. What you can compare.
As I mentioned, the proposed method is more accurate, most probably. But the issue is, the friction is we don't know how to condense it into a number.
I know. That's where we need to choose. Okay, which one's better, right? So right now we have a technical issue with how to actually produce a number here, but the framework is stronger. Whereas the other one, even if we perfect it, will never be accurate, right? Even if we can get, let's say, the technical aspect of this to work, so it won't work. It's like basically deciding this: do we build a jet plane that we cannot actually use the current technology to actually build, or do we try to build a propeller plane that will never fly as fast as a jet plane? That's where this particular decision is coming from. Okay, so that's why I'm reviewing this. And
so I think we can agree that the basic framework that we will use is the the more detailed one, the individual one, and we will create probably like action plans and milestones based on that idea, the detailed point of view. But in the meantime, we will use the existing one to produce an output because it's still required, right? Or should we just omit it until it's done?
I would. Okay, what is insanity? Insanity is doing the same thing and hoping for a different result. We've already seen that this current projection is one of the leading frictions to partner dissolution and to partner dissatisfaction, right? So why would we keep on using this particular tool to set ourselves up for failure? We need to go back to the beginning again and go, okay, all right, this thing is not working, right? So we need to decide whether or not to continue using it. And clearly in this case, we can't use it anymore because we're just going to get a failed result at the end. What I think we need to do is this. We need to, like, let's say, use a little bit more time, maybe produce a more manual method, right? And just say, okay, based on this new understanding of, let's say, the framework, this is our best estimate now. Yes, it might be wrong too as well, right? But at least we start getting feedback about, okay, all right, if it's wrong in a new way. Not wrong in the same way that we already know doesn't work, okay? So that, I think, is leaving the fear zone, leaving the comfort zone of what doesn't work, going to the fear zone of something that, is unproven. But at least we start making higher quality mistakes than going back and kind of recycling over the same kind of mistakes again. That's why I think this is a strategic pivot point right now, right? Because it's so critical that we make the innovation correctly. Okay. One more thing. I believe if we start using this model, this framework, we can start actually benefiting immediately because it is part of single property optimization in terms of price planning, right? Because when we start using this model, we start thinking about, I see gaps in the calendar. This is how I should do it. This is how should I do it. So you're not just solving you're solving two problems, right? You're solving how to price properties and you're solving how to project what the actual revenue is. And by the way, everybody, this is what I used to use before when I was the revenue manager here at Bukit Vista. And so it worked much better. We didn't have people dropping out because the projections were inaccurate. They were, within bands. Okay. So I think it's time that we just revisit something that worked before and develop the data science solution so that it can be scalable. That's what we're here to do. Okay. Take the Coca-Cola formula and scale it, not like reinvent a new formula.
Actually, I would like to clarify one thing, sir. The current method is actually based on the calculator that we used prior to COVID.
Okay.
So it's still average occupancy compared to multiplied by price. It's based on the Excel sheet that the previous revenue year.
Oh, right,
So,
right. Okay,
because they did not get into the details of the probability of occupancy per day, but just I think the calculator was low season, mid season, high season. So there's 3 different projections based on.
Which
the current one is an automation of the previous method.
Which ultimately, now that we know more about the context of how bookings happen, it's irrelevant, right? Let's kind of like take the sequence of data here. If your calendar is entirely packed, okay, and it's low season, does that mean you should raise the rates on the existing dates? Well, it depends, right? It depends on other things. So that context of what's happening on the calendar, I've discovered, is always more important than what's happening, let's say seasonality or whatever is happening elsewhere, right? Traffic, the current occupancy, booking window, the runway, these are factors that are incontestable to whether or not you should raise or lower price, right? No matter what season it is. But by keeping a fixed direction based on seasonality, yeah, I think that's why we have a lot of unoccupied space, right? We haven't, been dynamic enough. Okay, all right, that's my bits. Yeah, let's.
Okay.
Yep.
Copy. Okay. Copy.
Oh yeah, in general, we'll use the new framework, although it's still we can try adding the features one by one from the thing that we know first, and then figure out how the missing parts later on. Let's do a sub discussion within the data science team probably to figure out how to solve this. This can be held maybe tomorrow.
Okay, Vidi, I really need this to work, right? Because right now you can see that this is a friction in the partnership funnel.
Yep.
I'm going to volunteer my time. Okay, so if you guys need any more clarity on how to do this or whatnot, I've done this before in the past, so I have an idea, and I never had an owner ever complain about my projections were being off. Okay,
Yep.
So let's do this. Just get me in there, and if we have to manually do some projections, I'll intuit what it is, and then what I want you guys to do is to break down the intuition into something that is more like an algorithm. Okay.
Yep.
We're going to explore that and get that out there so that it can be
in the next sub discussion. Probably the expected output is a sample of one projection that would work. Because if we try the new algorithm framework on a real case, then yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Yep. All right. Cool.
Okay. Okay, thank you, Mr. Jing and Kofidi. So, Irfan, do help me to write down the actionables for this. So, the conclusion of the discussion is we will stop using the old projection framework and then start to develop the new one. And then we would have a sub discussion.
Yep.
Yeah.
But can you please arrange it?
Yep. I'll arrange it. For tomorrow, Eko. It's just tomorrow, right?
Yeah, either tomorrow or Friday is okay. Yeah.
Okay, so Irfan also helped me note that one too, that there will be a sub discussion with all of the BI team to discuss further about the new framework.
Okay.
So thank you, Irfan. The next follow up is Hansen's topic, and since Hansen is not here,
I can help for this one.
Okay.
The root cause is this one, but the solution that we discuss and we propose is pattern matching, as Mr. Jing explained previously, and how to pattern match from awareness activity with the site to analyze the review and find out the keywords from that review. I think Hansen already done the tools for analyzing the review. I think it's already attached there. And from that one, we'll transfer that knowledge to marketing to be translated into uh, the actionable in the listing itself. So, for example, for a certain villa, most people mention that this villa is very comfort for remote work, or this villa is very luxury. Then we'll add that keywords into the listing. Optimization of the SEO basically, and also how to make the appearance to looks like what the guest wants. So that's the plan, and it's already done for the Google Collabs and the tools basically. And next action is to deliver to the marketing team for the adoption. That's I think what Hans would like to say.
Okay. Thank you, Kak Lilis. So I'm trying to open the Google Colab, and I think Hanson haven't shared the file yet. So I'll I'll check on Hanson after this meeting, and then Irfan will help me to write down the actionable that would be to uh, help the user understand how to utilize the tool that Hanson have made.
Okay, so I will take Hanson.
Yep, yep. Okay. I'll update to Hanson later. Okay, that's all. I think that's all for the follow-ups. Everything is already set to be updated for Friday. Oh no, for Friday. And then let's go to the new topics. Let's go with Kak Lilis's topic first.
Okay, thank you very much. So this topic is actually coming from inspection. I believe Jessica also done this during the trial. Yeah, we try to investigate some of the inquiries, and we find out that some inquiry that has a high potential to convert is not responded as quick as it's possible, as possible. An example, we find out that Villa Bahagia, for example, someone would like to do last minute booking, but there is no response until I think 2 until 3 hours. It might be because they're handling too many accounts, and they don't have any notification of which one should prioritize. So it makes a high probability to convert inquiries is not executed well, and leading to non-conversion. Therefore, I have questions. Can we have a notification or some kind of prioritization, but it needs to be live gitu. It's not like other tools that outside Airbnb, but something that is live. So I have this idea, but I'm not really sure the possibility, perhaps. Yeah, perhaps Mr. G.
Wait. Before I actually say, let's let everyone else speak first. I'll go after it.
Okay. So your suggestion would be a tool that is tied to Airbnb, ya, Kak? And then the tool
Yeah,
could.
something like hey, notification. For example, meeting, right? The calendar. In the calendar, we have the schedule, right? Okay, this one I need to do first, and then the notification is coming, something like that. But
Mhm.
like, we don't really need to load on something. Just directly go gitu. You need to meeting now. You need to meeting 30 minutes, then etc. etc. Jadi like prioritization of inquiries.
So it also includes the prioritization process itself, ya, Kak? So the
Yeah.
tool also needs to uh, memutuskan whether or not this is
Yeah.
a high priority or not.
Something like
Wow.
mungkin if it is a system, the simplest one adalah the check-in date, right? The check-in date. So that's the simplest one that we can do. Itu.
Uh, let's start with Irfan, do you have any idea of any visibility on the possibility of this suggestion? And then after this, let's go to Coffee D and Mr. Jing.
I still don't have a comment at the moment. Maybe you can.
To be honest, it's the same for me too. I think if the inquiries is coming from bigger, I think that's what that is possible. But with Airbnb, I'm not really sure. Maybe let's go to Mr. Jing or Coffee D.
Let's go to Vidi first, and then I'll answer.
Yeah, from my end, I think there have been talks as well, the regarding prioritization of OTA, and we did mention it in the guest spot. Like Facebook has a lot of noise, right? One drastic approach is to let's say stop the inquiries coming from Facebook first, and then let's see what happens to the Airbnb
I'm
adoption.
Airbnb Vidi.
Yeah. If we stop the inquiry from Facebook, there's no coverage for Facebook. Everyone will focus on Airbnb, right? And also WhatsApp or in IG. So that will let's see whether it will be adopted or not. Second, pertaining to Airbnb, we can actually since Chris already took the inquiry data one by one, it will be going to be easier for us to check the response rate measurement. And I think, if I'm mistaken, each of the inquiries is retrieved in the database. So there might be possibility, but I don't know whether it's instant or not. But there might be possibility to notify there are inquiries that have not been answered. This is again a tool proposition as well, is to centralize all the coverage in Chandra account, which supposedly has all listings and inquiries.
Oh, I'm sorry, I can ask you.
On a single account, which is the Chandra account. So those are possible options, but again, it's pertaining tools, not really about the adoption per se for now. But maybe over to Mr. Jing, maybe.
Okay, here's what I see strategically. There's two things. One, if we want this problem to be solved, there's two ways to solve it, right? There's sort of the team management way, which is we enforce or we encourage or we do something such that there's a shorter response time. Okay, so that's the manual way. That's the using the existing technology way. You don't want to do this, Lois. You don't want to tell everybody that is on this side that we're working on a tool before we've taken a team management approach, okay? Because if you tell them we're going to build a tool, then of course people are going to rely on the tool instead of relying on themselves right now. So let me try to understand, let's say, from an easy perspective. Why do you think this inquiry that was last minute that came in didn't get covered? Did it fall outside of the normal regular hours where we manage inquiries, or was it within those hours?
It's within the hours. If I'm not mistaken, it's 2:30, and I
okay 2:30 p.m.
at 5 p.m. Yeah, 5 or 6. I forget, and would like to check in that day.
Okay, that to me seems like it is a team management issue. Okay, it is well within the day. We have coverage, in HAR. So let's say that's can be managed using a team management solution for now. Okay, but I also am compassionate. I understand, and I'm empathetic that there could be too many things to look at. Let me share my screen and give you guys like a picture of how I see this right now. Okay, right now we don't have let's the CRM thing aside, right? Let's say this is what happens. Let's say we have 3 channels. Let's say we have more than 3 channels. Let's say we have up to 8 channels where inquiries can come in, right? So inquiries can come in from, and then I'll represent one of the channels as ... Okay, like this is channels between channels 3 to 8. Okay, So basically, this is the problem, that somebody who is doing reservations, they get an inquiry here. Let's say the next inquiry comes here, next inquiry goes there, next inquiry goes there, next inquiry goes here, next inquiry falls somewhere in between. Okay. So literally, they have to keep their eyes on 8 different inputs in order to understand where is this inquiry coming from, right? So they have to check all over the board. That is because there's no CRM. There's no tool that centralizes inquiry management. What it should look like is this, okay? First inquiry that goes into channel 1, it's then routed to the CRM. Second inquiry that goes to channel 1, it's routed to the CRM. Third inquiry that comes into channel 2 is routed to the CRM. Fourth inquiry is routed to the CRM. The fifth inquiry is routed to CRM. And then the sixth inquiry is routed to CRM, okay? And once it's in a CRM, then it can be also rebalanced again to a sorting method, right? Whichever one was first in, first out, or maybe the one with the highest reservation value is at the top. So once you have stacked the inquiries, then they can be reprioritized based on whatever metric you want to prioritize them, okay? But the problem is we don't have a CRM right now. We don't have a method to actually organize these into a single flow of information. Now, all major companies that do customer service have this, right? Because how does a company, let's say like Tokopedia, deal with all these inquiries that come in all throughout hundreds of channels, right? They probably have Twitter, Instagram, multiple Twitter, multiple ways that people can reach them, phone calls, WhatsApp. So how do they do it? They deal with the same way. They have a CRM that aggregates all the inquiries into a inbox, a unified inbox, and then that then can be reprioritized and resorted. So that's the tool that we need. Vidi, question. Do we have a CRM in the company, actually?
Right. CRM, the closest thing that we have is Tokit. It has the inboxing feature, which collects information from all the Airbnb account that is connected. But previously, we did try that. There are some features that is not available. For example, it's only for like sending and receiving message. It's not there in the CRM itself.
Okay. Yeah. So then this is maybe what the solution can be. Tokit is a complete tool set. It shows you all the inquiries, and it also allows you to respond, right? And take these different actions. Maybe we can pisakan, we separate that. We want the feature where we can see all the inquiries in a stack, and we want the reservation team to be able to see that too. But we also want our own tool through Airbnb to actually be able to respond and send the special offers and do what we do, right?
Yes, that is why I propose to possibly use Chandra account. Chandra account aggregates the listings, and supposedly inquiries are all available there, supposedly, because that's how the product development team acquire data for now. So, yep.
Chandra's account can be a CRM for all our accounts.
Like a master account, supposedly. Yeah.
Yeah, but I'm trying to investigate. Is there any like sorting feature in the inbox?
The sorting feature is based on unread message.
I see.
Yeah. So because previously,
but we know the check-in. I think the check-in is available, Vidi. The check-in
based on the check-in value. Yeah. There's a filter. Yeah.
No filter about that. Can you share your screen, perhaps?
Yeah, I can share my screen.
Okay, I'll stop. Yeah.
Also, just now I find a feature to schedule a message. So I think it can be
the one automated message
follow up, right? We haven't used that feature, right, Vidi?
Yep.
Yeah, so like follow up message, I think it can be scheduled, so we don't forget to do that. I think that's a good feature.
Okay.
Used, yeah.
Okay, until this tool is created, we'll have to use a team management solution to bridge, right? So until we have some sort of practice or new workflow, this then becomes Vidi, delegate this, I guess, to R and say, hey, look, make sure the team actually does what needs to be done during work hours to respond quickly, right? Because our SLA is 5 minutes, I think, right, to first contact. But let's, in the backside, try to investigate what we can do to. Once again, this is going to be a problem no matter what, right?
Yep, correct. For this one, the list, the automated message is for like goodbye message or welcome message, not really like the scheduled message. But this is Chandra account. Um,
Just now that I showed just now, it's not.
Oh, yeah, it's Chandra account, right? Oh,
Oh
the
no.
automated message. Yeah, for if someone books and then given like automation that we have previously, we develop it in house because there is no feature like that in Airbnb. But
But
this supposedly already has all the listings from all the different.
Wait, hold on a second, Vinny. Doesn't Airbnb? Wait, what our current system to actually derive all the bookings and schedule all the bookings into a bigger? How does that work? It looks at the email, right? Parses the email and puts it in.
Parser.
So can't we parse emails for inquiries coming in?
Currently we are parsing email for the first inquiry.
Okay.
So the first inquiry is notified through Slack, but the following inquiries are not parsed to Slack.
Okay, but that's it. That's all we need, right? Because then you could stack your inquiries up based on that. And if you parse the inquiry and got the reservation value or the check-in date, then you could then sort that in a meaningful way, right? Yes or no?
I get what you mean, like the sorting, which one is more prioritized, right? Well, based on the first inquiry only.
Right? Okay, so this is where we think the mechanism goes to, right? So all inquiries go in and they get parsed. Wait, before they go into bigger? What's the mechanism? They go through what, like the?
They go through our email.
Okay, they go to our email, and then after
Airbnb sends our email, and then we parse the email using a third-party parser.
Okay, all right. Web from the third party. Okay. Yeah.
It will be sent into Gromat to a webhook, and then it's saved to bigger.
Okay, there you go. Okay, so then inside bigger, could we actually just get a quick inquiry sort of management system that tells us? No, it's usually like this, right? It starts building a table. It starts building a table of which profile. Okay, I think you used the word account, but I used the word profile, right? Which Airbnb account we have. Ideally, which property too. Okay, which profile, which property, reservation value, checkout date. Okay, our check-in date, and then Lilith. If we had that information in a table and it was updated, and then you could just hit a button, right? Whichever you want to filter. You want to filter by reservation, and it just starts showing you that, and then it just needs to be removed after the inquiry has been first responded to, so that it doesn't just kind of keep on going on forever. Would that work, Vidi?
I think one of the other issue is that the next inquiry after the first inquiry is not responded as well. That is also another issue that cannot be solved with this method.
You mean removing entries from this table, right?
No, so after we have a first inquiry, we answer it, and then the guest replied back. There's no notification on the follow-up.
Okay. Then we need to go back to okay, whether this is a tool solution or a team management solution, right?
Yep, correct. Okay. So as I mentioned, the one that I proposed just now is more of the tool solution, but the team management issue, yes, for sure.
Okay, let's couple this with the team management solution, Vinny Lillis, right? So the team management solution was this: every reservation person is responsible for their own reservation. So as long as they have gone into that, then they should be the one completing that particular reservation, right? Does that work then? If the expectation is the person who answers the inquiry should then be the person who closes the inquiry, then that kind of gets solved. The single attribute, the single person who essentially closes the deal. Then you wouldn't have to track the next inquiry and the next one. You just, okay, this has been like a ticket. Actually, you know what? That's the way it actually works. I just remembered. In all customer service organizations, when somebody takes a ticket, then they are responsible for closing the ticket. They can escalate the ticket, they can delegate a ticket, but then they are the one who gets essentially either the 5-star review or the 0-star review, the person who takes the ticket off the stack. So it is actually then only necessary to just figure out, okay, the first inquiry, you don't need to get the second response on the same inquiry.
Yep. Yeah, I think if you'd like to try that, yeah, we can try it, for example, like for this month, perhaps.
Okay.
Yeah.
The question is just then, this Vidi, how difficult is it to implement a system whereby we compile all the inquiries for all the accounts and put it into a single table that then we can, I think Lil's used the word sort according to different fields of that inquiry?
Currently, we already have the list of inquiries from Airbnb, but this it's just the want to prioritize it. Then we have to. Yeah, for the Airbnb inquiry, it can be dealt with. The other one, not sure.
Okay, let's do this then. Let's take a look at our resources and then decide which way we go. We have 3 options, right? The first option is we just use Chandra's account. That's already been built, and we don't have to reinvent the tool.
Yep,
we just
correct.
have to put the workflow into that workflow. The second option is that we optimize something for everything, right? And that's expensive in time and resources.
Yep.
The third one is we optimize something for Airbnb, which is probably going to be a growing platform given the new scenario that we're in with Bali opening, right? So isn't the first option the best option at this point?
Yep, that's what I thought as well. And product development team also get their data from Chandra account only to compile all the data. So that's
okay. Let's not reinvent a wheel then. If it's already functional there. Willis, does that solve your problem? Let's get the team to go through there as that becomes their dashboard for inquiry management. Chandra's
Yeah, I think
if it's still not solved, then it's fully team management.
team management. Okay.
Stuff. Okay. If it's Airbnb.
Yeah. Right. So Chris is responsible for this.
Okay, let's do that then. Let's do this. So Chandra's account.
Sorry?
Chris is working on this in PD?
No, he was in charge of the acquiring all the inquiry list, but to the access of Chandra account, Kagani has full visibility on that, like to give access. Let's confirm to Kagani in the guest squad later on whether all the inquiries are all the listings are logged and all the inquiries can actually be answered through Chandra's account. I think the one of the only thing that is concerned with previously when we talked about this is when we answer with Chandra account. I think the answer of that account is Chandra and Bukit Vista, not the original account where the listing is placed in. But that shouldn't be an issue, right? If you still introduce yourself as Bukit Vista team. So
yeah, I think it shouldn't be an issue.
Okay.
Like a team, right?
Lilith, this is mostly.
Sorry, sir.
This is mostly for detection, right? We're using Chandra's account to detect where the inquiry is and what to prioritize. So at worst, you just go back to the profile that the inquiry came from and you answer it from there as the workflow. So Chandra just becomes the radar account where you can see, oh, okay, here's something urgent. I need to go over to this profile and fix it.
Yeah, I think, is there any drawback if we use Chandra's account?
I don't think so.
Is what, sorry? Yes.
Is there any drawbacks if we directly reply using Chandra's account? No, right? It's like there's a thing, right?
I'm not sure. But previously, it's Chandra account has a lot of bugs in it. When you open it, it like the Airbnb becomes like error, you know. But because I don't know why, but recently when I've opened it like for the past week to fetch like sample inquiry data, there's no issue.
Okay, then I think we can go with Mr. Jing's if Chandra's account is not working. Mr. Jing's idea where it's only become a radar, like Chandra's account.
Can be, yeah.
Yeah. But I need to investigate more with the reservation team, I guess, for this one. and also with Maskani for the
Okay.
expenses. So.
Okay, so then this is good then. So BI then has essentially discovered a improved workflow, and then just delegate this to team management to execute through. I would say, who's in charge of HAR right now? Actually, who's in charge?
Gray and Nadine, right? No.
Okay, yeah, have them essentially teach this process to the other reservation people and make sure that it's adopted, and that then should improve their ability to fulfill the SLA. Yeah.
Yep. I
Okay.
think I can delegate this to Jessica, since Jessica is actually working on the inspection of inquiries, sir, and just started.
Thank you. Wow, there's somebody inspecting inquiries. Nice. Okay.
Yeah, we already have the scheme, but we tried it once last week, and this last week is Jessica trying, and this
Mhm.
week is me trying that out. So
Okay.
I think that will be good first project for Jessica. Yeah. Okay. Yes. Okay.
Okay. So thank you, Kalilis, Mr. Ring and Kofidi. And Irfan helped me to write down the actionable that would be for Kalilis to follow up to reservation team and Kak Gani. That will be the actionable for this topic. And then there's actually one more topic, but since we're well off our time, I would like to move this topic to our next discussion, since I think this will be a long discussion as well. So I guess that's it for today, everyone. Thank you so much for coming in today's BI's discussion. I'm sorry for the additional time needed for the discussion. I'm not really sure on stopping the ongoing discussion. Now it was it was going so.
Vinny, could you stick around for a second? Yeah. I have this thing I want to discuss with you about strategic management.